Question number 1. Which weapon was most recently removed from Fortnite? The grenade, the tactical submachine gun, or the Tommy gun? If you said the Tommy gun, then mark a point. The grenade is still in the game, and yes, the tactical SMG was removed from the game recently, but I had asked most recently, so the best answer is the Tommy gun. Question number 2. How much HP does a slurp give you after the most recent patch? 50 HP, 100 HP, or 75 HP? The slurp used to give you a total of 50 HP, 25 HP of it would go to your health, and 25 of it would go to your shield. However, a couple of months ago, the slurp received a huge buff. Now, the way it works is when a player uses it, it gives them 75 total HP. If the player reaches max HP on the health aspect of it, whatever's left will go over to shield. So basically it prioritizes health, but any of those health points that are left over after your health is fully regenerated goes to your shield. But anyway, if you pick 75, then mark a point. Question number 3. After the recent update, how many 50 shield pots can a player stack in one inventory slot? 2, 3, or 5? Believe it or not, a player can now stack 3 50 shield pots in one inventory slot. I think this is an awesome update because now carrying 50 shields is much more beneficial to a player. I know before this patch, there were a lot of times where I'd have to leave a 50 shield pot or contemplate picking up something else to take up that slot. But now that you can have 3 in there, it makes it way more valuable. And now you don't need minis as much because you can carry 3 in that slot, and that'll probably be all you need throughout the game. But anyway, if you pick 3, mark a point. Question number 4. What did the cube do to Loot Lake? Did it turn into lava? Did it empty it, or did it turn into a giant bounce pad? When the cube finally made it to Loot Lake, it melted into it and turned it into a giant bounce pad. This speeds up the pace of the game because now a player can quickly make it past Loot Lake by bouncing over it, which will make it a lot easier to get away from other players or get out of tough situations, such as outrunning the storm or anything of that nature. Question number 5. How long can a player sprint in Fortnite without needing to stop and walk? 20 seconds, 10 seconds, or infinitely? There is no sprint time limit in Fortnite. A player can run forever. If you picked infinitely, then mark a point. It is now time for our lightning round. These questions are going to be easier, but you're going to have half the time to solve them. Good luck. Which item is placed on the walls of a Port-a-Fort fortress? Bounce pads or damage traps? If you picked bounce pads, then mark a point. Bounce pads are placed around the walls of the Port-a-Fortress to make for a quick escape. It's a nice addition in my opinion. This way you can just bounce off the structure without taking any fall damage. Question number 7. What's the new item they added in that allows you to swing from place to place? The grappler or the web slinger? If you chose the grappler, then mark a point. Question number 8. Which area is newer, Lazy Links or Tilted Towers? Lazy Links is much newer than Tilted Towers, so if you pick that, then mark a point. Question number 9. How many bandages can be stacked in one inventory slot? 10, 15, or 20? The answer is 15 bandages can be held in one inventory slot. Question number 10. Which new structure spawns in playground mode only? The Spiky Stadium or Trap Towers? Spiky Stadium is the new structure that spawns in playground mode only. This adds a whole new element of fun to the game because now players have a mini game mode to enjoy with their friends if they don't feel like 1v1ing or just building mindlessly in playground mode. Alright, that's the end of the lightning round. Now let's get back into the normal questions. Question number 11. How many small shields can be stacked in one inventory slot? 8, 10, or 15? The answer is 10 small shields can be carried in one inventory slot. Question number 12. Which color is the best rarity for weapons? Blue, green, or gold? Real quick, I have a challenge for you guys. If you can leave a like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, you'll receive amazing luck for the next 2 years. Hope you did it in time, and let's get back into the video. Gold tier is the rarest weapon in the game. They don't spawn very often because they are the most powerful items in the game. Question number 13. Which is the newest shotgun to be added into Fortnite? The gold heavy shotgun, the blue pump shotgun, or the golden double barrel shotgun? The double barrel shotgun is the newest and most powerful shotgun to be added into Fortnite Battle Royale. Its max damage is over 260 if you get up and close with an enemy and shoot him in the head. Alright everybody, it's time for a challenge round. These questions are going to be a lot more difficult than the other questions before, so please pay really close attention on these ones. Question number 14. Which weapon holds the most ammo? The light machine gun, the minigun, or the compact SMG? The light machine gun holds 100 rounds and the compact SMG holds 50 rounds. However, the minigun is the correct answer here, so if you picked it, mark a point. The minigun actually holds an infinite amount of ammo. It uses light ammo, and however much is in your inventory is how much it can use. So if you have 999 rounds of the ammo, it will shoot 999 rounds without reloading. Question number 15. Which gun has the worst bloom in Fortnite? The light machine gun, the compact SMG, or the SCAR? The light machine gun has the worst bloom. The reason for this is because it holds a ton of bullets and can be used to just spray down an enemy or take down builds. If it was very accurate like the bloom in the SCAR, then it would be extremely overpowered, especially because you have to rarely reload it. If you pick the light machine gun, then mark a point. How many shots does the new grappler gun have? 10 shots, 15 shots, or 20 shots? The grappler has a total of 15 shots when it's first picked up and never has to be reloaded. So if you pick 15, then mark a point. Question number 17. Which change was recently made to the final circle in the new update? Does the storm stop moving? Does it stop destroying structures when it moves? Or does it never close? After a recent update, structures that have been built are no longer destroyed by the storm. Since the final circle moves around now, the devs thought it'd be a good idea if structures remained intact, so that if the storm moves back to where the structures were built, players can utilize them. This changes the end game a lot, especially in competitive. Now if players are out of mats, they have a bit more of a fighting chance. If you chose the option that the storm no longer destroys structures, then mark a point. Alright, that's the end of the challenge round, now back into the normal questions. Question number 18. Which of these weapons were removed? The gas grenades, the jetpack, or the suppressed SMG? The jetpack is the only item that's been removed here, so if you pick that, then mark yourself a point. I also do want to admit they do add in limited time game modes that do have the jetpack in them. However, the jetpacks are not currently in the main game, so for that reason they are the best answer. Question number 19. How much health does the final zone hit for? 10 health points, 15 health points, or 20 health points? The final zone's storm damage hits for 10 health points per second, so unless you have multiple cozy campfires and multiple slurp juices, it's basically impossible to survive the final storm. So if you pick 10 HP, then mark a point. Question number 20. Does the grappler hook prevent you from taking fall damage? Yes or no? The answer is no, the grappler hook does not protect you from fall damage. If you really know what you're doing, you can use the grappler hook to escape fall damage by swinging to different structures, but the grappler hook does not work like a bounce pad in the sense that it does not save you from fall damage. Question number 21. Which piece of furniture was buffed to take more than one hit to destroy with a pickaxe? The bookshelf, the bed, or the TVs? The answer is the beds were given a health buff, but they don't give a player any additional materials for the trouble. I didn't like this at first because if you land at tilted towers, it makes it much more difficult to get materials earlier on. It did start to grow me though because some chests do spawn on beds, and now I don't accidentally destroy them with my pickaxe, so that's one benefit in my opinion. But regardless, if you pick beds, then mark yourself a point. Question number 22. What is the biggest difference between the standard SCAR and the suppressed SCAR? The overall damage, the headshot damage, or the bloom? Though you would think the biggest difference between the suppressed scar and the unsuppressed scar would be the damage, it's actually not. The biggest difference between these two versions of the scar is the bloom. The suppressed scar has a significantly better bloom, and in my experience with this weapon, I barely miss shots. It does do a couple less damage, but it's well worth it in exchange for better accuracy. So if you picked bloom, mark a point. Question number 3. How often do supply drops spawn? 1 time per circle, 2 times per circle, or 5 times per circle? Supply drops spawn 1 time during each zone. As the zone gets smaller, more supply drops spawn, so late game there are a bunch of supply drops that do spawn, but they never spawn at different times. However many supply drops will spawn that round will spawn 1 time at the beginning of the zone change. So if you pick that they spawn 1 time each zone, mark a point. Question number 24. Which weapon is the most effective in close quarters combat for the average player? An LMG, a shotgun, or an SMG? The best weapon to use in close quarters combat situations are the SMGs. Shotguns are very powerful up close, but if you miss your shot, or if the other player is a good builder, it will be very hard to hit them. And if you missed, you're usually punished for it very heavily due to how long it takes to shoot a second shot. Most SMGs in the game have a high fire rate and do over 20 damage per bullet up close. And if you miss, you don't have to wait very long for the next shot to come out, making them the most effective weapon in close range for the average player. So if you picked SMG, then mark a point. Alright, it is time for another lightning round. So get ready for these questions. Question number 25. How many medkits can a player hold in 1 inventory spot? 3, 5, or 7? The answer is 3, so if you pick that, mark a point. Question number 26. Which is more accurate, a suppressed SMG or a combat SMG? The suppressed SMG is more accurate, so if you pick that, mark a point. Question number 27. Which vehicle holds more players, the ATK or the shopping cart? The ATK seats more players than the shopping cart, so if you chose that, then mark a point. Question 28. What's the best area to land to get wood? Wailing Woods or Loot Lake? Wailing Woods is the best area to get wood, so if you pick that, mark a point. Question number 29. How many seconds does it take to use a medkit? 5 seconds or 10 seconds? The answer is it takes 10 seconds to use a medkit. That is the end of the second lightning round. Now back into the regular questions. Question number 30. What's the best way to gather ammo? Opening chests, killing other players, or looting ammo crates? Even though looting ammo crates seems like the obvious choice here, killing other players is the better way of getting ammo. Ammo crates rarely drop you more than 30 shots for most weapons, so you're better off eliminating a few players with a few bullets and taking all the ammo they've accumulated. If you chose eliminating other players, mark a point. Question number 31. Which is better for getting down from a high spot, bounce pads or impulse grenades? Bounce pads are the better way from getting down from a high spot because they don't allow you to take fall damage. There is a trick you can do with the impulse grenade to not take fall damage, but it's super hard to do, so you're just better off with the bounce pads. So if you pick bounce pads, mark a point. Question 32. How much health does eating an apple give you? 5 health points, 10 health points, or 15 health points? Consuming an apple gives a player 5 health points, so if you pick that, then mark a point. Question number 33. Which object supplies the most materials? Wooden pallets, beds, or rocks? Wooden pallets give players the most materials. Sometimes they can provide up to 70 wood, so if you pick that, then mark a point. Question number 34. Which is the most expensive item you can get from the vending machine? A medkit, a gold RPG, or a stack of mini shields? Unless you buy 3 sets of mini shields, the gold RPG is the most expensive item you can get out of the vending machines, costing 500 materials. So if you picked golden RPG, mark a point. Question number 35. In the late game, what's the best material to build with? Wood, brick, or steel? Usually wood and brick are the better materials to build with because they reach max health a lot quicker than steel. However, in late game, it's better to build forts out of steel because if you're building a tower to sit in and scoop out final enemies, it'll be way harder to destroy a tower made out of steel. Not to mention steel got buffed recently and actually has more health when you initially place it than wood does, so overall steel is just the better choice at the end of the game. So if you pick steel, mark a point. Question number 36. How much shield do mushrooms give a player when consumed? 5 shield, 10 shield, or 20 shield? Mushrooms give a player 5 shield when used, so if you pick that, mark a point. Now it's time to reveal how many points you needed to pass the test. So on this test, there were a total of 36 questions, which means the max amount of points you could have had in this test was 36. In order to be ready to go pro, you had to have gotten at least 33 of these questions correct. But no worries, if you didn't pass, just study up and come back and try again. This has been Exility, and I hope you learned something on today's test. Subscribe if you guys are brand new, and I'll catch you guys next one. I'm out. Peace.